Hello, it's Emily, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new, I just wanted to let you know that I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Mondays, I post videos about my life with glaucoma. On Wednesdays, I post whatever video I want, and on Fridays, I post videos related to my faith. So if that interests you, please hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get to today's video. School is back in session, and as you all know, I have glaucoma, and so today I thought it would be appropriate to talk about 5 accommodations that I use to help me better succeed in school and honestly just in life in general. So the first thing that I do is I do have a letter of accommodation that I give to all of my professors at the beginning of every semester. Full disclosure, I have only given out my letter of accommodation to all of my professors, I think my freshman year of college and now in my last semester of my senior year. Most of the time I don't give it out because I don't know why, I have anxiety I guess, and it normally works out okay. A year ago I had a class where I hadn't given it out and I could tell that that wasn't going to work based on the activities we were doing in class. I was struggling, and at one point I was like terrified that she was going to call on me to read from the board, which I couldn't see, and so I did end up giving her my letter of accommodation. But normally I hold out until as long as possible, which is not what I would recommend at all. I don't know why I don't give it out. I also take a lot of classes online, and online classes I tend to have very few issues in, and so I don't give it to those professors, and I think it's created some bad habits. So I do have one. When I go to grad school in the fall, I'm definitely going to have one and use it, especially because the vision I had my freshman year of college is not the same vision I have now. It has gotten worse, and I just need more help than I used to. But on my letter of accommodation, I have 2 things that are listed as things that I need. The first is time and a half on all quizzes and tests. So say a quiz or a test is 1 hour long, then the professor would need to give me an hour and a half. So just some extended time on things like that, and then also for professors to read out loud anything that they put on the board, because you would be surprised how many professors write something on the board and then just point at it and go, yep, what do you guys think of that? And you're like, I don't know, I can't read it. So I don't know why. I think because I'm such a auditory person, like I like to hear things anyway, and I'm surprised when people really do rely on that good old eyesight that not everyone has. And then the second thing that I want to touch on is kind of a special circumstance, but I did also receive accommodations when I took the GRE. It is just like a general exam to get into grad school basically, and on that test I did have the ability to, and it's an online test, so I could enlarge it. I had double time, and I also had extra breaks, and that was very helpful. The extended time was the most, well, the extended time and the ability to enlarge it were definitely needed and necessary, and so definitely want to recommend to anyone who needs accommodations, like definitely get them if you need them. If you're taking a test, you know, definitely we had to go through some extra hoops and fill out some extra paperwork, but it was way worth it, so I was very thankful that I had that. Second accommodation that I use almost every single day is my laptop. Yes, this is a pretty big laptop for being a laptop. Most people have, you know, little Chromebooks or MacBooks, and I do take this with me to school, to coffee shops, and not gonna lie, it is bulky, it is heavy, and I wish I could have something smaller and lighter, but it's not going to work as well as something like this, which does have a bigger screen. This also has touch screen, so all I have to do is kind of like touch it and I can enlarge the screen. Most of the time though, I just use like Control+, and yes, I enlarge my screen every single time I use it. I keep it zoomed pretty close in, and that makes a huge difference for me. In the past I have used Zoom Text, which you may or may not know what that is. It's basically like a computer software that automatically zooms in everything. It also will read aloud to you what's on the screen. And I used that when I was younger in elementary school, and honestly, I found it a little bit hard to navigate. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to the struggle of trying to use a new application or device, and there's a learning curve, and sometimes it takes longer to actually do the task than if you didn't have it on there. So I kind of ditched it. Maybe I will use it again in the future, but right now just zooming in my screen helps immensely for me. And sometimes if I'm reading like a long article for school, if it's possible, I will even copy and paste the text onto a like Word document and then highlight it and put the text size to like 30, 40, 50 to make it really large, just so, as y'all know, when you enlarge a screen, then you're scrolling, from here, and then you have to go over there, and sometimes you can't just scroll down, you're kind of scrolling left, right, down, up, and so being able to do that also helps. And overall, this has been a necessary component. Like I said, I even do a lot of my classes online, so cannot minimize the impact that this laptop has had on my college career and the accommodations that it provides for me. And the third accommodation that I use is a little less obvious because it's not something associated with people who are visually impaired, but my planner is a necessity for me because time management is essential to making sure that I can get everything done on time. When you have a, visual impairment, it takes you twice as long to read, twice as long to do assignments, and so holding things off till the day before they're due is just not going to work out. And so to be the most successful version of myself, I make sure I write everything out and I look at the beginning of the week what is due, when it's due, and I plan accordingly. I make sure to space things out so that my eyes don't get super tired and so that I'm not straining or I'm just not giving myself enough time to do things because, in college especially, there's a lot of reading and I read slow, and so holding this long paper to read 10 minutes before class is not going to work for me. I need extra time to do it, and so this is a huge help and I had to mention it in this video. The fourth accommodation that I use is this Optelec Compact Touch HD. Not sure if that's the exact name. If I can find it, I will definitely link it down below because this has seriously changed the game for me when it comes to reading physical copies of a book or papers. And so basically what this is like a digital magnifier, and so you can just place it over the text you're trying to read. You can zoom it in or out. You can change the coloring, so you could change it to where the text is white and the background is black, or variations of that. You can do, I think, black and red, blue and yellow, whatever color most helps you see, and then you just touch it to focus and you just scan it down, whatever you're reading, and you can read it. Now I've had this since my freshman year of college, but I've only started using it this year, and when I lost vision about a year and a half ago, I was pretty devastated, to say the least, when I realized that I lost my ability to read books and read, physical copies of things. Even reading 12-point font for like school assignments has become very, very difficult for me, and it was very frustrating and very sad and aggravating and just a lot of negative emotions. And so when I had a book assigned for one of my classes last semester and there wasn't an audio version of it, I didn't really know what I was going to do, and then I remembered that I had this, and I pulled it out, and it made reading so easy for me, and it just literally felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders, and I was like, wow, I can actually sit and read a book again. And yes, when I'm using this in public, it's a little bit, feels like a lot of attention is being drawn to me, but I also don't really care because this makes reading easy and possible for me. And so I cannot like stress how amazing this device is because, you know, it gave me something back that I thought I lost. And so this has been a necessity for me, a huge. And finally, the fifth accommodation that I use is audiobooks. I like to believe I've been using audiobooks before it was cool and before every YouTuber was sponsored by Audible. I've used audiobooks and Audible since I was in elementary school because I liked to read as a kid. I'd like to do like the Mark Twain nominees and the Truman nominees, and in order to do that, I would just listen to them, and it really made it a lot easier. It helped me keep pace with everyone else, and so audiobooks have been just a huge resource for me. I use them for textbooks, I use it for when I read my Bible or for other school books, and I also just use it for personal reading. And so audiobooks have been something that I've used for a while, something I will probably always use because they just make reading so much easier for me. And although I'm not like an avid reader, I definitely do like to read a good book here and there, and so audiobooks makes that possible. And yeah, those are the 5 accommodations that I use almost every single day to be successful in school and just in life. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a comment to start some conversation, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.